this lecture, we will read about the biosphere. Now, the biosphere. In very layman terms, what I would say that the biosphere is sum of all ecosystems together. Yes, exactly. And this is also called as ecosphere. So what it is basically, it is a zone of life on Earth. We have already done an intro of the biosphere in the previous lecture. So what we say, whenever an ecosystem where the interaction abiotic and the abiotic, and when combine all the ecosystem together, the living organisms where the area of surface is habitable by a living organism. This is what the biosphere is. So in short, it is a zone of life on Earth. It is a zone of life on Earth. And most important thing that you have to remember is that the biosphere is a closed system plus it is self-regulating. Do you remember when we read about the ecosystem, we have said that it's an open system, and we called it open system because the ecosystem doesn't have the boundaries. Ecosystem, there's a amount of energy can be, the shared from the surroundings. There's continuously exchange of the matter. But in the biosphere, it is a closed system, means it has fixed boundaries, and more importantly, these boundaries, we can say that average thickness of biosphere is 30 kilometers. Now this 30 kilometers, what I have said, this means that not just this distance but also this distance also. So means if this is a person here, so what I gotta say is that this includes the air, this includes the soil, this includes water, includes land, all of them together. This is what it means. So when we discuss the components of the biosphere, there are the two main components. The first one is an abiotic. Second, of course, biotic. In the abiotic component of the biosphere, it has been divided as the lithosphere, which is basically a land and soil. Then we say an atmospheric, and then hydrospheric. Whereas in biotic, it includes the plant component, it includes animal component, and it also includes microorganisms. So yes, this is what the main components of the biosphere are. So when we say a biosphere as a system, a closed system, it has always been there are more components. So in that component of a closed system, there are three main, which are basically an organic plus inorganic plus energy. So you can pretty much refer this thing as organic is abiotic and the inorganic is an abiotic, and plus the energy component. So when we say that it is a self-regulating component, it means that all these three, they are mutually interdependent on each other. This is dependent on this, this on this. So this is how they are mutually interdependent and interrelated, means completely different. You cannot say that organic and inorganic exist depending on each other. Only if we have organic, only then we will have inorganic. No, they are interdependent on each other. It doesn't related to each other in this case. But the crux of this thing is that the energy, the source of energy here is each and every one of them. So energy is basically a unit for the organic also and the inorganic also. So we can say that if all these three together are balancing each other, only then there will be an equilibrium condition. If any one of them got disturbed, then there will be an ecological problem. This is what generally happens when when we have some natural disasters occurs because of the man-made cause or the natural causes. So there must be an equilibrium condition which has been you know uh, tampered with due to the man-made or the natural reasons. So this is what the biosphere is. So organic and inorganic, and there are large scale and cycles and mechanism involved in this thing. So the high level view of biosphere, this is it. It is a closed system, self-regulating zone of Earth, which include all the three lithosphere, atmosphere, and hydrospheric component, and from the biotic, plant, animal, and microorganism. And all of them are interrelated and mutually interdependent through series of large-scale cycles and mechanisms. So as long as we have an input, and input is basically what we say as an energy, right? And output is there with respect, that is the matter, the equilibrium can be maintained. And this is how the equilibrium condition is to be met. And this is what the biosphere means.